For bad players that are confused about the middle game like you, Stonewall setup might be perfect for you. You can literally play the exact same moves against anything and always end up in a solid position. Usually beginners are surprisingly good at opening, but don't know what to do in the middle game. So if you can force your brain to focus for the next 8 minutes, you will learn an opening against anything. That way, you will have time to master the middle game. We will teach you the ideal setup and the exceptions. And we will look at 2 examples that will show you the main attacking ideals of the Stonewall. Now let us learn the Stonewall setup so you can stop worrying about the opening. Pay attention. Because in the next 8 minutes, you will basically be Magnus Carlsen. First of all, let's talk about the setup. Just follow these steps. d4, then push the pawn and get your bishop out. Now develop your knight to d2. Complete the Stonewall and bring your other knight to f3. This is your ideal setup, but there are some things you need to know. Let's say your game went like this. You still have the same setup, and black pushes c4, attacking your bishop. This bishop is supposed to attack black's king side, so it wants to stay in the same diagonal. Just drop it back 1 square, so it's still pointing towards the king side. Now let's talk about your knight. I will take these moves back real quick. Black does some normal develop move. These 2 squares are extremely important. That is why your pawns and knight's mission is to attack on e5. Now your horse can jump there, well protected. This is your main attacking idea. Most people capture right away, and you recapture with the f-pawn. Obviously, the knight is attacked and has to retreat. I will show you how to secure the win on the king side with an example game later. But sometimes things doesn't go as planned, for example, in this position. When you are trying to build your ideal setup, some people go knight c6, threaten knight b4, do not play f4, they will trade your best minor piece, and you will lose all the kingside attack. Instead, as soon as you see something threatens the d3 bishop, play c3 first, and then f4. And now let's take a look at an example game. d4, d5, e3. Black brings out the knight, and bishop out. Black opens up his bishop, and after we develop the knight, believe it or not, a common move you might face once in a while is bishop b4, pinning your knight. Obviously you continue your Stonewall with c3, the bishop has to retreat, and we can play f4 to complete the Stonewall structure. And after a random move by black, you complete your ideal setup. Black castles and white here has full control of the e5 square and perfectly executes the knight attack. Of course, black takes immediately, and we take back with the f-pawn, and after the knight retreats, everything is going as planned. And here comes queen h5, the perfect attack. Queen h7 would be checkmate. Black is forced to play g6, but now we can put our queen very comfortably. Black tries to create counterplay on the queen side, and we ignore him by bringing the other knight to take full dominance of the king side. Capture, perhaps to gain an advantage on the queen side. Recapture an a6 with the idea of b5. How is black going to stop mate? The best move for black is to sacrifice the queen for the knight. We recapture with the bishop. And after some random moves, how are you going to stop mate in 1? The best move is literally to throw in a check with the bishop. The pawn takes it and the rook moves, and this is mate. But before you go off and try to play this, obviously your game will not always go as planned. So let's take a look at another example game that shows the common alternatives. It starts with d4 and now knight f6. A completely new starting move, all well. Let's continue the Stonewall setup, and oftentimes what you will see is they will end up with something like d5 anyway, so it's not even something new. Develop your bishop, everything is going as planned, and now c5. You probably remember to play c3 to secure your bishop. If you do that, they will probably just develop, and now you can finish the structure with full control of the e5 square. Pay attention, if your opponent makes a tiny mistake, he is in big trouble. But first of all, you should complete your setup. They develop. And a few moves later, your setup is complete. Nothing special, you should know this by now. By the way, if they advance their knight there, please don't blunder a pawn, just use the wife to defend it. But let's go back. Many players even advanced one's fall for a very easy attack. Black makes some normal moves. What you want to do here is the exact same thing as earlier. You bring your horse to e5, but this time black was smart and did not capture this knight. He finished his development, and you can now play the move rook f3. Black did not realize how strong the attack is and played queen c7. You continue the rook lift with rook h3. Black here tried to play for the queenside with c4, a deadly mistake because white can sacrifice his bishop. Recapture with the knight. And here is the same idea as the previous game, queen h5. White is threatening multiple checkmates at the same time, and black found the only move to prevent queen takes f7 mate. However, that doesn't save black the game. After a few moves been played, black decided to create some queenside threats. And we open up the center, black took the pawn, and we recapture. Black tries to create attacks, and there are many ways to win as white. The white player could have waited till endgame and promote to 7 knights, but he was a kind man, maybe even one of those Jehovah's Witness. He decides to finish his game with the fastest and cleanest mate. Was this intended? Absolutely no. Did this happen because of our massive kingside attack? Absolutely yes. And are we going to take credit for it and pretend we are Michael Tao? Absolutely and utterly yes.